So
We are here. We are here with Mr. Manswell, Vivian Manswell, better known as Mangi. So, Mr. Manswell, I understand you and I represent Belmont in some capacity. You with Luton Town, I with Coles. So I understand even you went to St. Mary's. So could you give us a little background of your schooling and if you played any soccer / football in school?
okay, I want to start with St. Margaret's, my EC school. And I want to tell you that your steel band played there one carnival Saturday night, every night.
You mean the best dance band in the land?
I don't know about that. They meet up with Sunland that night. Anyhow, I went to St. Margaret's, where I was a college exhibitioner, to go to St. Mary's. But I played for St. Margaret's for 3 years until I was 12 years old. At 12 years old, I represented North Schoolboys in the North-South annual schoolboy football match. So I was the only selection from St. Margaret's School on that team. After 12, I went to St. Mary's, winning the college exhibition. And I played for St. Mary's for 3 years, from 16 to 18.
All right, so the 3 years here.
St. Mary's.
Right.
I played in the Port Spain League. But I did play one game for Luton Town at 15 years old, which attracted the school's attention, and I was taken out of the Luton Town regime and put in St. Mary's regime. Okay.
How could that happen? How could?
At 15, I tried to play for St. Mary's, but I didn't make the team. So I went to play in Northern League for Luton Town.
Right.
Against Midvale. And I scored against them, and the St. Mary's captain saw the game and reported me to the school.
Okay.
And the school put a little pressure on me to come back.
You remember what year? You remember what year that was?
That was 1960.
Right.
I was 15 years old.
Okay.
So I played for St. Mary's 61, 62, 63. And leaving there, I played for Luton Town until 68.
Okay. But when you played for St. Mary's, you couldn't play for Luton Town anymore, correct?
No, there's a conflict in leagues. I couldn't play Port Spain League and Northern League at the same time.
Okay.
So I had to choose Port Spain League. So I played in Port Spain League for St. Mary's. And that's the first division. With Colts and everybody else, you know.
Okay, and I mean, I guess you said you score and that's put you on the bar. I know you as a big scorer, but I know you with the power shots. I know you have a power shot.
So I can't remember what kind of goal it was, but it was a goal.
Yeah.
Because the captain went and told the priest in school that I'd left the school team and was playing for Luton Town.
Oh, okay.
That time we were in first division in 64.
Okay.
That's the first year for Luton Town first division, Port Spain League.
Was that a culture shock?
For them.
What do you mean for them?
Well, there's a few college boys that played on the team then. Ray Raymond, Holly Carrington, and eventually my brother Roderick Manswell, who went to Dynamos first and then came back to us. So we played for Luton Town, and after that Victor Gamano came and joined us when he left the regiment.
Yeah, I think I saw your brother play. You know?
Yeah, he played wing and wing back.
Yes,
so.
I saw your brother play in front grandstand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is when I was in the institute, so that is all around 62, so about 62.
Yeah, so he was playing for Dynamos around that time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
I didn't play in 69 when I was leaving.
Any accomplishment within that 60s, in the 60s?
Yeah, well, I played for Port Spain League representative. I played for North Trinidad on a few occasions. I was called to Trinidad Trials.
Good.
So I played a bit, yeah.
Yeah. So now, what brought you to this cold country?
Studies. I was come to study, man. I did Form 6 in St. Mary's, so I had the higher level response, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I finished in there, and then I hanging out, and so the guys in the team said, "Where you going to study, boy? You should go and study." So I went out and applied. I got into about 3 universities, and I came up here and I went to Western.
Oh, Western. So you didn't really come to Toronto in the beginning then?
I came to Toronto, but I thought London was just around the corner. I didn't know it was the length of Trinidad.
So
I went to business school. I went into business school at Western.
So did you have any relatives here, or you just stayed out there?
Just my girlfriend, soon to be wife here.
Okay. So
My brother was in Winnipeg.
okay. So when did you actually decided to live in Toronto now?
Well, after I did my first degree, I got married, and I came back to Toronto. But I used to come back every year to play for Irie then. Irie was then formed.
Okay. What was the first year you played with Irie?
Irie 1970.
Okay. Now, were you aware, seeing that you came in 69, were you aware of the West Indies? Did you have an opportunity, or you were still out in the Western at the time?
In the summer of 70, I was aware of them, and 69 also, because they used to play down on Harvard Street, practice down there. I used to go down there and play with Scarrow one day.
Mm-hmm.
But the West Indies was already a functioning team by that time. So Scarrett and Junior Parker and Alvin Thomas, they all had a stint with the West Indies.
Okay, and it never appealed to you, or you didn't have the time at the time?
We changed. It changed in time. It was a natural flow. The guys in Irie thought there was too much players in town then,
Mm-hmm.
so we formed our own club.
Okay, so it didn't have anything to do with the Jamaica Trini business, or
no? We got along quite well.
Okay,
Until we started to play against each other.
Okay, so okay, you with Irie now, and you remember who was in charge of the club then?
Well, it was first started under Miles Sosa and Leo Marine. Scarrett was our first coach.
Okay.
So Scarrett was our first coach. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So within the 69, 70, I guess, to the going into the 70s, what's the accomplishment and in terms of Irie within your time? I know later on you did the Consoles Cup. I think you were there then. I don't know what capacity, but within the early 70s was there. I know West Indies won the Ontario Cup in 73.
Yeah, and we reached the quarterfinals.
Okay. You remember what year?
No, I must have been around 73. So the same year West Indies won.
Yeah.
It's the same year we got to the quarterfinals at Lamport Stadium.
But that's saying well for the Caribbean teams. That's saying well for the Caribbean teams.
8 teams in the finals, quarterfinals, and West Indies went right on to the national finals.
Okay, that's the first time I'm hearing that. So now you're with Irie now. One of the main things with Irie now is the Iere Tournament.
Yes.
And how, as I say, you were the doorman, the person taking up the admission. And I want to know, from my experience, it seemed like that had a lot to do with your personality. You know, somebody collecting money is not an easy job, but you always seem to get by very easy at the door. And my feeling, did the Iere Tournament come by, and how you came by that position? Were you in a position in the club?
It was Miles Sosa's decision in New York. Somewhere around 74, 75. We went to a tournament down there, and Miles told me maybe we should do the same thing up here.
Okay.
And I said okay, and it passed on to me to do it, to spearhead it.
Yeah.
But we had guys like Leo Marine and Wilson, and
that's Ken Wilson, right?
Ken Wilson, yes.
Yeah.
Ken Molyneux, Checky, Yoon, Ron Reiner. Those were the guys who were behind the tournament with me and stayed with me all through the years. 25 years.
Yeah, I remember the 25th anniversary. The tournament, I remember just recently, within the last year, I remember this guy, he said he always wished to play an Iere Tournament, but you know you merit the change of the evolution of that tournament from a high peak to struggling for teams?
We had Montreal, Boston, Washington, New York, and Trinidad. And then we had just as many teams in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the teams in Toronto started to die. The Guyanese team died. The Belgian team died. Just the Jamaican team and Trinidad, Unity died. All those teams started to die. And of course, the foreign contingent started to fall off at the same time. Mm-hmm. So from a 12 and 16 team tournament, we got down to about 8.
Okay.
So the signs were on the horizon that we were not there for long again.
Okay. Within that tournament now, which was to me the pinnacle, it was the start of the summer, which was normally we moved it from the long weekend in Toronto to the long weekend in the Memorial Weekend in the US.
Yes,
and
the compromise. We had to get them coming up, so we had to give them their holiday instead.
So, for the record, Washington or Weavers from Trinidad, one of those two were the last two teams, international teams that came. Either with Washington team or the Weavers with Rampasad.
Well, I believe the Malvern team, which is Rampasad, and they probably were the last.
Okay. So, now, a big part of the Caribbean football was the Flemingdon League. Right? A lot of people will be very interested to hear how you articulate this part of this interview, because we knew that there was a contingent in Irie, maybe based on the personnel, I don't know, based on whatever else, but there was a certain amount of Irie players playing in the Flemingdon League. Now, it wasn't a good thing from the management of the Irie point of view. Were you of that thinking then?
Things do change. There was a conflict in terms of scheduling and having Irie players play on a Sunday in Flemingdon and have to play on a Monday in the league, and so there was a little bit of conflict in that. But it seemed to rule itself out as more Irie players, the age group changed. The older folks started to leave, and the younger players who were really Flemingdon players, Ronald and Victor and Loney, and they were our main players then. And, so it was natural that we had to compromise again. So at the same time, I began a coaching clinic with Junior Parker and Checky and they on a Saturday morning for young kids, which were really kids of our...
And that was on Flemingdon too, correct?
That was on Flemingdon too.
Okay.
So that moved from about a few kids to over nearly 100 kids. And we used to travel and go to Washington, New York, and we went to Ottawa, and we go up north and play football in these different friends' families. And out of that, we ended up coaching in the Youth Soccer League. I with Scarborough, Junior Parker with Blizzard, and so we did break out and start to coach teams ourselves outside of the coaching clinic we ran.
Yeah. So let me ask your personal opinion, because I'm going to be interviewing some guys from the Flemingdon League, which is what the whole pivotal thing would be around. Give me a whole, besides the Irie players, I mean, you referee in the league, what do you think about the caliber, the level of the football/soccer at Flemingdon Park?
I believe it ranged from normal, ordinary to very, very good. I mean, there were some games that would attract lots of people out there.
Some games you used to do.
Footballers of high standard played there. So I can tell you, because I referee and as a player, I know level of football. So it ranged from low to high.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed the high games. They were big games,
Yeah.
The Hackett boys and so came, and then of course the players' team was a big time team, and so.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that involved.
Yeah, it's important to get that opinion from you, because you did referee. I used to get you to referee the big games, because again, just like being the doorman, your credibility was high. you know, and although it still was in question at the end, through no fault of your own, because it ended up being a Trini Jamaica issue, and the perception, you know, the perception because you were Irie and players was Irie, I guess they felt when they losing that, you know, but to be honest, I couldn't attribute anything towards you making bad. As a matter of fact, we felt that you used to over-compromise when we play calls. We used to make
we had some problem with calls and so. I remember those. I don't want to talk about that now. But you remember we went to the referees exam?
Yeah.
So Jackie was running that at George Brown, and we took that. And so.
I took that. I had to take that too because I did some refereeing too at the Flemingdon, but I felt that you doing it. That's when Molino came in and refereed too. You know.
Yeah, sure. And Jackie refereed too.
Yeah. You mentioned, you hinted the other war, which is something we didn't cover in the preempt to this. The Ottawa Royals indoor tournament, that was also a marker for the outdoor going into the Irie tournament. That was
yes. It was a spring tournament. We used to play in the ice rink.
Yeah.
That's how cool it was. And we played a seniors group, you know.
Yeah. No, what? Didn't you play in the Open before you start playing the seniors?
I think I probably played the local team first, but not much. I played the senior team more than anything.
Yeah. So now you're playing part of Irie. So your administrative part beyond the tournament. I remember correctly that we invoked you as the president of Irie when we had the same problem with that Ottawa tournament, based on us. We had the meeting under the thing by Flemingdon Park there. And when we discovered that we weren't going to be in, and again, and that's when I talked to the guys and we say, Mangi is the man for them, you know. So as president now, we had certain things over the period of time. How did you like your presidency, you know, in the Irie? Because as president, you know, you had calls to make, you know.
Well, I operate from the humble position from below up. And I believe I had the support of the players because some of them are playing with. I know after when I became president, the team won all the games in the league 1 year. That was a big year.
Yeah.
I remember that specifically. But I can't remember when I stopped being president.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, because it's a question I know a lot of the guys, Vivian, would like to hear. What do you think attribute to the demise of Irie?
I believe that we wanted to be an elite playing club. And that wasn't good enough to maintain the longevity of the club. You needed to groom people. I heard from a lot of people on the street that they wouldn't come to the club because we had a kind of high-level border where guys couldn't make the team. So when the guys who played died all of a sudden, there was nothing to go back to. And that is just where it started to go down. You know, when Roland took over, because we actually had a B team then. After Roland took the first team died and he had a B team then. And that's the dying of the club. Yeah.
But we did get an influx. So you can. So what you're saying is you felt replenishing the personnel was a problem. Yeah. But I remember Horace DeBarros.
West Indies United is still good.
Horace DeBarros was doing a good job in that recruiting. It's just that I guess he wasn't really telling them exactly what to expect because, as you say, it was a team that was not easy to make.
It wasn't easy. I mean, I remember playing at least 5-6 years with the same forward line. You know, nobody came in. The first time Loney came, he was the first person to break in to the front line because we had Trinidad players in the front line.
Which was Convey and what was the early forward line? Alan Calendar, Convey?
Yeah. Caracino, Convey, Calendar, myself. Then Tomasas, you know, Convey, Calendar, myself. Then Rennie, you know. So really and truly the forward line never changed.
Yeah, all right. So at least we get the lineups now. So You know, what are you doing now? Are you still a member of Scarborough? Or?
I'm a member. I've given up coaching. I've given up the game really. I like to watch.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
like the giving up coaching and refereeing, but I like to talk to the boys, and so
Yeah,
that's the
well,
last group of young people I had.
those are big men now.
They're not children. They're not children.
Those are big men now. So how you making out?
Last young group.
So are you making out with the COVID?
Not badly, not badly. I'm home. I'm home. Yeah.
Well, that means you're making out well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's holding up. Everybody's holding up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we had to have it this way, but
Yeah. Well, I keep trying. So, well, I want to thank you and just tell you, you know, everybody think you were one of the guys that, you know, had the balance throughout the years, you know, and for me, you know, maybe not as firm as I expected it to be, but we're always somebody we could trust.
my name is more important than anything I did.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for giving me the time today, and you know, hopefully you will pass this on.
That's what you can do today.
Yeah. So thanks for the.
As a player, you have to do with what you work with what you have.
Yeah, work with the kind of ball you're getting.
That's right. But I wish you all the best with your family.
All right, thank you, and same to you.
Yeah.
All
Have
right.
a good day.
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.